first record I ever bought.
Yeah.
Back in '63, I guess,
Yeah.
'64, and
Yeah.
I was 14.
Right.
So I grew up with it, and that's always been a passion of mine, was listening to music over the years. And my brother Tom was a musician, so we were always actively involved in listening to music together, and I used to enjoy going out and watching his band play, and never really lost the passion for it. And so when the opportunity came to actually get into a business where our hobby essentially becomes our business, it seemed like a perfect fit. The business that we're in is a second-hand business where people sell us CDs and DVDs and records, and we resell them, and sometimes we clean them up, put them in new cases, new covers. And it's a kind of business that involves a lot of different people that sell us things for different reasons. We see a lot of people that maybe are moving out of town and sell us big collections. Sometimes we have to go to people's homes and look at the stuff they have there. We have young people coming in to buy records now, which maybe we didn't have 5 years ago. The young people seem to be really interested in vinyl. And we've got a lot of people who are our own age, who are collectors and are always interested in things that are rare and hard to find. And we've got office workers that come in every day from work. And we have a lot of people that come from all over the city and sort of come in on a weekly or bi-weekly basis on weekends. Well, we tried to lay the store out in a way that would be really accessible for the customer that comes in. And when they come into this store, we want them to see that there's a variety of product in the store. So we put a little bit of everything on this floor. We've got some vinyl on this floor, which indicates that the whole second floor is almost completely vinyl. We've got a lot of CDs on the floor because that's what we sell most of. It's primarily a music store. The DVDs are a secondary product for us. We used to have a lot of videos. Now they're upstairs. 6 months from now, they'll probably be gone completely from the store. It's a product that's come and gone during our time here. But we do have a lot of films here that we want people to see. In terms of being a downtown location, it's really good because what we've found with business is that business is geographical. Mm-hmm. And if to have a CD store in a particular neighborhood, it's very, very important that the neighborhood supports it. And we get that kind of support from this store. During the weekdays, most of the customers come from this area. They work around the area, right. And we're the CD store in the area where they want to come. So, you know, there's other CD stores, other places in the city, and this public will always come to ours because we're in the same neighborhood. Wow. So you get that kind of support. Now, we wouldn't get that if we lived in the suburbs or a different place. Yeah. This is a really good place to have that kind of support because it's downtown. There's so many people working around here. Yeah. That's a great strength for us. We're what's called the destination store. We weren't that type of store when we started. Mm-hmm. A destination store is a store where people will drive to. They drive from all over town to come to. And over the last years, our stock has got such that we are now, for the last 5 years or so, we've been a destination store. And this really helps us on weekends. Right. Because on weekends, of course, nobody's working around town. They're all at home. Exactly. So we have a whole different clientele that comes on the weekends. Well, the business is, working it with Tom is great. We each have our own proportionate time of the week that we take over, so we're both in charge when we're here. And it gives the other guy time to have some time off. And I couldn't think of a better partner than my brother. I trust him completely. He trusts me. We got no problems with anything. Yeah. I go out. I'm the one that goes to places to buy records when we go to somebody's home. Okay. I'll be the one to do that. Tom has a much bigger knowledge than I do of classical music. Mm-hmm. So this whole classical section here is all determined by what Tom decides. I spend a little more time on DVDs. Tom spends more time on CDs. So, you know, I love blues. Blues is my area that I have a lot of knowledge in. Tom's got a number of areas he's got knowledge in. So we complement each other. And we've kind of fallen into areas over the years that we both enjoy, which makes it even better.
We heard a lot of music just growing up. My father was a big fan of jazz, so we listened to jazz music around the house. My mother was a trained classical pianist, so we had both sides of the coin. And then when rock came along, my brother jumped into the rock scene as soon as he was old enough to start getting interested in music. So I had that influence around me all the time. I was 10 years old when the Beatles came out, so I sort of latched on to the Beatles with my brother. And then which got me very interested in playing music, and then I started to learn how to play music in my early teens, and went on to be in a couple of bands and played professionally for a couple of years in Ottawa. We did pretty well. We have a constant turnover of inventory, which is unusual stuff. It's not like an HMV or a place that's bringing in new stuff, which is always the top 20, and that's pretty much all they carry with any kind of guarantee. At a store like ours, you can come here and get like CDs that have been out of print for 15 years, 20 years. You get something that comes from England or Japan, things you'd never see in any other kind of a store. And plus the price, it's you know, half as much as you're going to pay for it brand new. Albums, you can get albums here which you can't get anywhere else. I mean, and it's a broad selection. We sort of touch all bases here with from country, rock, jazz, all the way across. I mean, people are coming in and selling you something. You got to make your decisions fast, and so you check for the quality of the album is always the essential. No scratches or nicks and stuff like that. And a lot of people think that their albums are in good shape. You know, they always say, "Oh yeah, you know, they're fine," and then you look at them and they're just like somebody ate their meals on them or something. So you know, it's kind of, you can't take anybody's word for anything. You really just got to go do the work. But you know, when you see so much stuff on a daily basis, you know what you already have, what you don't have. You just have a feel for it, what sells, what doesn't sell. And that's the kind of thing that you get over time. I know what sells best. Let's put it that way. I have a good feel for. I keep a close eye on what sells here on the CDs, and I know which labels are really popular, what kind of classical music is going to be most popular. I'm not an expert so much on the individual artists so much as the maybe the composers, the hotter composers, and the labels, that kind of thing. Biggest learning curve is probably just buying the product.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really know. There's a lot of things I didn't know, even though I'm well versed in music and been around music my whole life. There's a lot of little niches in music that I really wasn't that aware of, like punk music, for instance, and world music, things that have gotten more popular, like world, for instance, than it ever was. So that's a big learning curve, and so then you have to know what you can sell something for and what you pay for something like that, and the store's 25 years old.
Okay.
So it's the longest running store in the city. So people know where anybody who buys from you will sell to you.
Right.
Okay, so that's how it works. You get generations of people selling to us. So somebody's father passes away who shopped here, and they still have the Turning Point price tag on there. They're going to look up the Turning Point, or they know their father came here, or whatever. You know, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
When you've been around 25 years, it sort of works in your favor.